Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. Today I have a shopping bag for you. I came up with this when I was trying to work out a way to house greeting cards that I'd made, but not in a box. I wanted to put them into something else so that I could actually make it quite gifty. And I've really fallen in love with this stamp, but it's a roller, although I've butchered it, but I'll tell you about that a little bit later. And I really love it, and I absolutely adore this designer series paper. It's etc. And I've been using it quite a lot recently, and I was, kind of fiddling around and playing around, and I thought, you know what, it's called Shop Around, so I'll make a shopping bag. So when I came up with it, I found that probably you wouldn't be fitting a dozen cards in it. I've put one in there just for now because it's one that matches. It's one that I put on my blog recently that uses the same paper and then actually the same stamp set. So you can see, this is the same lady down here. But I would say probably you would fit maybe 3 in there if they were, quite heavily embellished. And this is layered quite heavily. Because all the layers are 3D, they've all had dimensionals in. But maybe if you were doing sort of 1-layer cards, or maybe you wanted to put a card, the envelope, or the card in an envelope in it with a gift. It's 1 inch, the base, so like I say, you wouldn't be fitting half a dozen cards in there. But you know what? The bag itself is a gift. I think so anyway. I think it's rather lovely. So I'm going to make another one of these in a slightly different colour, because you know me very well by now that I like to do a few different samples. For you guys in America, I'm really sorry, you're going to have to use 12 by 12 paper for this, because this is using 1 full sheet of our A4 cardstock. So it's 11 3/4 by 8 1/4. Although actually, having said that, your standard size cards that you guys make is different to us, so I'm sure somebody out there will probably tweak it. Or if somebody wants to let me know what your standard size card blanks, or rather your standard size envelopes actually would be more helpful, I'm happy to do another one at a future date. But anyway, back to ours with the A4. So 11 3/4 by 8 1/4. With the long side at the top, you score it at 4 3/4, 5 3/4, 10 1/2, and 11 1/2. So there is a tiny little 1/4 inch gap there, and in metric, these are really slightly peculiar, I'm awfully sorry. 12.1, 14.6, 26.2, 28.7. So you'd want to be getting your trimmer out for this one and using the very small metric measurements. Anyway, turn it around with the short side at the top. We're going to score it simply at 1 inch and 7 1/2 inches. And again in metric, that is, what is that? That's 2.5 and it's 19 centimetres. Right. Okay, move the scoring tool out of the way. And this is very simple to build this box up. Really simple. I'm going to burnish it first. Fold and burnish. So all my score lines. This little one here, definitely do this one well, because this is actually where you're going to be sticking your adhesive. Right, we need to get rid of a few parts of it now. So this, you need to, perhaps maybe need to get your, have your ruler out. I'm using my grid paper, and I've got the inch measurements side up, which incidentally is metric one side and imperial on the other. So I know this is my 1 inch gap. So with the smaller one, uppermost, perhaps, if you were going to work that way round, take off this tiny little section here at the bottom. So this is the little section that's the 1 inch end, and then these here, trim down there, just nick a little bit out just to help with the closing. Ignore the ones at the top. Right, so this is very simple. I'm going to have a tiny little bit of glue over here, oops, on this section here, and take it, I'm going to try and do a tiny bit of glue. I will do my best all the way to the top, and then, as always, because my measurements are the same, it means that you actually just need to fold it over. Whoops! And press carefully, and that's your box closed. There you go. The bottom, oh, the box is closed, there's me, I've just twanged it open. Oh, useless today. There we go, that's closed. Right, so we know this is the back. Simply fold these ones in, and that one, because this is then going to be your front. I'm going to use glue because I've got it to hand, but you know, you could use sticky strip, anything like that. Something strong, I wouldn't be using snail on this. You know, you might be putting a heavy gift inside, and you don't want it to fall out the bottom. So, just push that into place and hold it just for, you know, just for a few seconds. Oh, look, it's all wiggling today. I'm trying to be impatient. Right, the top section, we want these school eyes because we want to sort of fold it over, but you literally, you can hopefully, because you're looking straight down, see what I'm doing, push those in and just pinch, and it's, if you can see it, you can see it at that angle, it's just sort of stopping little, you know, prying eyes peeking in or something like that. So, designer series paper, this measures 6.25 by 4.5, or in metric 15.8 by 11.5, and it's the opposite side of the paper that I've used in the card that's inside there, and it's old olive, and it's a bit roughened, you know, it's been battered, it's been well loved, and all I'm doing, sticking some snail on, and then popping it on the front. Look at that, I managed to get Stampin' up in there. That wasn't deliberate. So, and then these little images here I have stamped with the roller stamp that I've butchered, and I promised you earlier that I would show you my beaten up, my poor old roller stamp. Basically, I've cut it off the roller, and then I've used some of our foam mount that you can buy from the catalogue and made my own stamp. However, it is longer than our longest block, so you need to, let me get some scrap cardstock under here. What you need to do is line it up on an I block and a C block, and make sure you've got as much as possible over the C block and then the little bit over the I, and you just bring your stamp to the pad. No, that didn't make sense at all. You bring your pad, your ink pad, to the stamp, go all the way over, and then depending on how brave you are, you do have to kind of hang on to both parts at the same time. See if I can do this now. There we go, you kind of have to waft it in the air, straight down, firm pressure, and then lift it off. And all I've done is I've cut out all of the little elements one by one. So let me move those out of the way. You don't want to see me doing that, that's quite boring, which is why I've already done it. And I haven't mounted these, although I did with these, and I kind of just eyeballed them really. But I'm a bit impatient this evening, and I haven't done that, and I've lost my dimensionals. They were here just now. Oh, there they are. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick some dimensionals across the back of them all, and I'm actually just going to randomly stick them all over the box. I might not put all of them on, I'm not really sure. I prepped this up about half an hour before I have got round to filming it. So I haven't lined it up or anything. We'll play together here now and just see how it looks. But for me, because this is a vintagey kind of bag, oh actually I don't think I'll put that one on, that's a little bit little. I like these sort of shopper elements, I think they're rather lovely. So, where should we have that one? Down at the bottom? That one, I like that one. Pamper yourself at Sylvia's salon. Brilliant. That one up there, I think. Oops. What's this one? You're a Doll Photography Studio. Yeah, it's about right. quite retro. What have we got here? Kind Soul Footwear for Women. I like that one too. Do you know what? I may perhaps have been born in the wrong era. I would have been happy with this sort of fashion. What's this? Key to My Heart, Key and Lock Shop. What's that say? Stronger steel for no broken hearts. Too cute. I don't know, maybe this might be a little bit of overkill. I'm not sure. I'm enjoying myself. And what's this final one? Fragrance de Fleur. That's the scent that will tame the wild the scent that will tame the wild frontier. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anyway, right. The holes for the shopping handles. I've just got a standard hole punch from a stationer's and kind of semi-lining it up. It's not important. So through the front and through the back. And then I've got my cotton trim ribbon. I didn't fancy going with a pear pizzazz, not a pear pizzazz, an old olive on this one. I just didn't want to do it. So I decided that this one was quite nice. Let's try and feed this through. And I want to keep the knot on the inside, so I'm starting by pulling it through from the inside. Pull the back there, and then decide, actually that's quite a good length. Snip off, I can tie a knot. Oops. And I don't want this to pull through the hole, so I'm doing a double knot around my finger, which will give it a bigger, bulkier knot. And then trim off these little spindly edges. And that will tuck away in there. And that is your shopping bag that will hold standard C6 card. Like I say, probably about 3. Let me move this ink out of the way before I stick my arm in it. It will hold, I would say, probably 3 that have got decorations, more if you haven't, you know, more if you're going on 1 layer card. And I think it's rather nice. I think it's elegantly gifty, and it's kind of gifty in its own right. Put that one in there. And I hope you like it as much as I do. I think it's rather nice, and I love the paper. It's the Etc. paper. This one I did with, I think that was Midnight Muse in the background, I can't remember now. But this one is Old Olive with the colours. But you just change it to whatever you fancy. You know, if you don't want to use the retro look, don't use something else. You choose how you want to design your bag. But I love to hear from people who've been making my projects. There are lots that are popping up on people's blogs that they're sharing with me. I do love that. But if you want to make something like this and you don't know which papers to go from, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you and guide you and give you ideas and, you know, help you choose the things that you want to use. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you like it, and I look forward to seeing other people's versions of it. Thank you very much. Bye.